In February 2022, the Clarkesworld magazine, specializing in science fiction stories, announced it will stop accepting reader submissions, not due to its poor quality or any administrative issues, but because readers had stopped writing them. At least about 500 readers had created fake stories, using artificial intelligence applications to deceive the magazine that they were their real authors. Only the extremely poor quality of these stories drew Clarkesworld's attention to this new phenomenon, which also occurred in two other magazines, the Magazine of Fantasy and Science Fiction and Asimov's Science Fiction, leading them to take the same decision to stop accepting public stories. However, the question remains, how did the public view artificial intelligence as an assistance in such a creative endeavor? And why would they need it in a voluntary activity meant for enjoyment? Leading us to a critical question, both scary and promising at the same time. Can artificial intelligence someday replace our human intelligence? Is it just about technological advancement that brings machine production closer to human output? Or are there other dimensions that make humans unique, entirely irreplaceable by human inventions? Arkhipov and Petrov, have you ever imagined that the world we live in today was on the verge of extinction 60 years ago? Specifically, in 1962, when the nuclear war between the Soviets and the Americans was about to erupt, following the Cuban Missile Crisis, just 90 nautical miles from the United States, the Soviets had placed their nuclear warheads as a response to the Americans placing similar warheads in Italy and Turkey. During that period, there were many clashes, along with verbal and intelligence conflicts, no need to mention now. It's enough to say that the two nations agreed on a peaceful resolution to the crisis, yet one incident almost ignited the crisis, crafting the ending of all existence. It was the nuclear submarine B-59 hidden beneath American waters that descended to the depths with news of the approaching war, blocked by the ocean to receive Soviet command messages, informing them that the crisis was over. To complicate the matters further, the Americans discovered the submarines and launched strong signals towards them to surface and return home. Before the submarine could launch its nuclear warheads at the Americans, Officer Vasily Arkhipov prevented his colleagues from making that decision. Who was Arkhipov? He was a Soviet officer who survived a radiation leak on the K-19 submarine, making him an expert on the horrors of nuclear radiation and its effects on bodies and souls. Based on his profound experience, he refused to initiate that war, despite everyone's belief it had already started. Something in this man's soul told him to wait, that what he was hearing was not a signal of war, something that artificial intelligence could not have provided, as it analyzes data heartlessly and dryly. Armed with weapons and facing a potential threat, an AI would have likely ordered to fire immediately. However, human experience had another opinion that saved the world from its demise. But do you think the world had survived then? Let's return to September 26, 1983, when another Soviet officer, Stanislav Petrov, was startled by an alert during his shift, informing him of the approaching 5 American nuclear missiles about to explode in his country. Would artificial intelligence have issued a warning then? Or would it have analyzed the situation with military intuition and intelligence, knowing that the United States would not start a nuclear war with just 5 missiles? Petrov followed the latter path and did not issue the warning. His intuition proved correct upon discovering it was a false alert, realizing he had also saved the world from imminent destruction. The crucial difference between the two decisions, after divine providence, lies in the human characteristic granted by Allah, which humans have not been able to add to their artificial intelligence, i.e., moral responsibility and emotion. Intelligence and intelligence. In 1950, the mathematician Alan Turing devised a binary test, examining both humans and computers simultaneously. It's a game involving three individuals: A, the man; B, the woman; C, the interrogator. The interrogator must ask both A and B some questions without seeing them, determining at the end who is the man and who is the woman. There's a simple condition that requires A to mislead the interrogator while B answers truthfully. Turing's hypothesis was that if a computer could deceive the interrogator perfectly, it would mean that the computer possesses intelligence similar to human intelligence. Do you want to know the result of the experiment? Naturally, the computer failed, which was perhaps expected. After all, it was 1950. However, surprisingly, even 70 years after the experiment, no artificial intelligence model has successfully passed this test completely. Thus, Hervé Bourlard, director of the EDIAP Research Institute and an AI specialist, asserted that it is not artificial intelligence, but rather machine learning, as there is no system that reflects even the slightest degree of human intelligence. This opinion is shared by a researcher in psychoanalysis, Claire Stevenson, who believes that machine intelligence is based on acquired knowledge and mathematical calculations. It is capable of processing millions of data points at lightning speed, yet in a simple and a superficial way. Conversely, human intelligence is effluent, capable of logical thinking and handling problems, without the need for massive mechanical memory, but far more complex and intricate than mere mathematical operations. In other words, machine intelligence can produce solutions after intensive training, but only within the scope of its training. Meanwhile, human intelligence can generalize and draw from its experiences across various life contexts, thereby acquiring its uniqueness. Allah's creation. In his book Islam Between East and West, the late Bosnian president Alija Izetbegovic stated that life is greater than thought, meaning that life is much broader than the theoretical framework of ideas. In other words, as he also put it, humans are not crafted in the model of Darwin, just as the universe is not crafted in the model of Newton. Artificial intelligence and robots are systems capable of direct mathematical analysis, deduction, and solution. Though lacking the moral choice imbued with emotions, religious references, human motives, and the individual components of each human personality. In artificial intelligence, humans create a system replicated by billions of robots, whereas in human intelligence, we see a purely divine creation, free possessing will and a distinct personality, allowing different decisions in every situation based on its assessment. This helps us understand the eloquence and miracle of the Quranic expression when it refers to the mind as the heart in various instances. The word heart appears in the Quran in different forms more than 130 times, and all these ayahs are related to knowledge and understanding, in addition to faith and its correlates. Hence Allah says, "For indeed it is not eyes that are blinded, but blinded are the hearts which are within the breasts." Al-Hajj 46. Thus, using the mind is a complex and intertwined process that requires emotion, reflection, and valuable inner components within the hearts. One might ask, why not benefit from artificial intelligence without these complexities? To be answered by another, that these complexities protect us from our human egos regarding knowledge. An ego that might make humans think they have created something superior to themselves. Yes, artificial intelligence today has become more advanced, with some studies proving that it even rivals the creativity of human elites. Even so, this creativity does not make it a responsible being to whom we can reassuringly entrust the reins of life. This creativity might save us when in need of an assistance to achieve something in a critical time, but it could also press the button ending the world if we handed it the reins of things. Considering the high status that Allah has honored humans with, we can return to the aforementioned noble Ahya, posing its clear question. So have they not traveled through the earth and have hearts by which to reason and ears by which to hear? Al-Hajj 46.